What's up, y'all? It's man ES the Hermit Star back again with another video, and I'm here to do the weekly reading for the sign of Libra. So if you're a Libra and you have Libra placements, I done forgot my intro. This read is for you. I'm doing the read for the week of June 30th to July 6th. I can't even speak with your messages. Something might be going on. Interesting. I'm getting tongue-tied and everything. Last read for the day, but really tongue-tied. Interesting to see what that's about. But see, I can't even. What that's about? Ooh, what's going on here? Anyways, if you'd like to book a personal read, you're able to book that with me by sending me an email. You can find my email in the description box below. If you are into podcasts, I don't know why I said if, but if you are into podcasts or whatever, check out the link to my podcast, which is also down there in the description box below. Yeesh. I see why I was stuttering. We're going to figure it out, Libra. We're going to figure it out. But your boy Lil Wayne got you in the funk right now. I'm just going to keep it a buck. Your brother. Alright, let me not say more. Anyways, we start with the Page of Pentacles in reverse. This is someone who doesn't realize their potential, really. And I do see here that, ultimately, whatever or whoever, because I feel as though it's someone. Whoever has you feeling like you gotta be, for lack of a better word, in the little noon, you know what I'm saying? Like, someone's got you feeling small, or at least wants you to believe you're smaller than you are, right? And I think ultimately you do wake up from that, and you don't allow that person to keep you in this state of feeling again like you're too small for something, or whatever the case is, right? Like maybe you're not experienced enough, right? And they're not saying this because they're like someone who maybe this is a work situation, right? And they do have more years than you, or more experience in general, right? It could be something totally unrelated to work, just something in general where somebody has more experience than you at something. When they are telling you that you're not as, experienced, like your abilities are not as sharp as theirs, they're not saying that as just some like critique. They're saying that because of some dirty ulterior motives that they have. So ultimately, they could be lying to you about your ability, about something. They could be lying and saying that you're actually worse than you really are. They could be lying about their ability to do whatever job, or to do whatever that you all do. I'll get to why I say that. But your next card is the Six of Swords in reverse. Aries got this card upright and not in reverse. You might have Aries in your chart though. If so. But this is emotional baggage, and living in the past. Maybe part of why you feel as though you're not as good as well, other than this other individual. And I still do believe it's someone in your head, someone that maybe you take their words seriously, which again, I'm going to expose to you why you shouldn't, to be honest with you. At the end of the day, it's your choice. But it could not just because this individual is saying something, but maybe because of a situation where you may have failed at something in the past. That Six of Swords is that, like, you just living in the past and still holding on to that that trauma essentially that you had based off of maybe you trying something and you failed. And now you have this individual who, maybe you sought out this individual because they achieved, or they say they achieved something. Maybe they sought out you claiming that they achieved something that you tried and you didn't have success in. Again, I something in my mind is telling me that this person isn't, other than the card that symbolizes they're not trustworthy, there's something more that's telling me like this person really isn't as big or as knowledgeable, again, as they're leading on to you. Before we even get to that card, though, you have the Knight of Swords in reverse. This is someone who is very impulsive and very disorganized, can be very aggressive as well. And I'm not saying this is the individual. I do believe that this impulsivity is coming from a desperation of wanting to succeed, which, it's something we all want to do. I want to succeed, and I know people are going to be like, well, if you're not desperate to succeed, then how bad do you really want it? The gurus, the motivational speakers, the red pill bros, everybody going to say that shit. And I get that sentiment, but then there's a tactful way of going about it. And this is not it. In reverse, it's not it. There's a way of going about, your success. And again, in this energy, that's not it. There is no tact here. There is just, you're probably just throwing things at the wall and thinking, just because it sticked, it's a good thing, right? You throw pasta at the wall, some of it's gonna stick. That don't mean it's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? You throw shit at the wall, literal shit. You know what I'm saying? It's gonna stick. That doesn't mean it's a good thing, though. So this whole idea of just throwing things at the wall and seeing what sticks, you're going to find a lot of things that stick. Don't make it good, though. So I just felt compelled to say that. But here's where we get to the individual, really, that I was telling you about, with the Five of Swords. This is someone who either uses intimidation to win at all costs, to cheat people over, or they do something straight up just dirty, right? Now that I'm looking at it, though, although I do think that it, if it does apply, if it really is someone outside of you, I still think that you should, distance yourself from that person, and either literally or, mentally, spiritually distance yourself from that energy. I do see that since this came right after the Knight of Swords in reverse, it could be a situation where, again, you are willing to do things at all costs, or, you may have entertained that thought of, I need to succeed, so I need to be able to do something, right? But going on the first message here, where this individual is somebody outside of yourself, somebody who is leading you astray purposely. The individual who I said, and I still believe, that they're not really as, knowledgeable in whatever field he's in, she's in, you're in, whatever the case is, right? The messages I was getting before, the downloads I was getting before, was like giving me vibes that this person is not even like who they say they are. Meaning, like, let's just use the example of you're trying to get into medical school, right, or whatever the case is, right? And they claim to be a doctor or RN or whatever, other, they claim to be in the medical field essentially, right? And their title is the exactly what you're trying to do. So again, you either sought them out because they have it in their little bio, social media bios, that they are this title, or they sought you out because maybe they know, they've seen you post online about it, or they just heard from the grapevine, or whatever the case is, that you wanted to get into that field. Well, they're lying. They're lying. Like I was saying earlier, I believe that they're not even in that field. They may have sniffed that field. They may have touched. They may have formerly been in that field. Let me put it that way. I don't think this is just some complete stranger acting like he is like a police officer, right? He buys a cop uniform from Party City, right? Is that store even still around? I don't know. The one in where I'm at shut down. So I don't know if all of them shut down or it's just that one location. Nonetheless, let's just use that Party City for nostalgia purpose, right? If it is shut down. It wasn't like he got a cop uniform from Party City and was like, I'm an officer. And he's really not. Like, this is someone who, I get the sense was, has some type of relation to whatever field you are trying to get in, but they're not directly in it, if you understand what I'm saying. It's like, let me try to use another example. Let's use the example of, like, if you're trying to get into, like, film production, right? And you're trying to, like, get a job on a set of some sort, right? You want to be a producer, right? You're trying to do that. And this person comes out and they're like, oh yeah, I'm a producer. Or, oh yeah, I am whatever, a director. And really they were just the janitor on set. You know what I'm saying? But like, they weren't actually who they're telling you that they are. They may have overheard some things. They may have actually overheard the actual producer, director, or whatever talk some things while they were, being nosy, moseying around with the mop and the pan and the dustpan and the sweeping around and stuff. But that wasn't actually their role. They were on that set, but they're on that set cleaning up the set. You know what I'm saying? While everybody else was, all the actors, while everyone is gone, and maybe the director and producer, they stuck around and talked. The janitor this individual was, around hearing the conversations in the background while they were doing their actual job, which was cleaning up. Now, that's no disrespect to janitors and shit like that. I enjoy cleaning. So, you know what I'm saying? It's one of my side hustles, actually. So I'm like, don't take this as offense if you are someone who's a, janitor or whatever. But, like, I'm just saying, like, for the example that I'm giving, it's like if someone had a specific job title and claimed to be someone that they're not simply because they were in close, it's like a receptionist claiming to be a doctor because they're a receptionist at a doctor's, at a hospital or whatever, right? So, again, you're in that medical field because you're in the building of a medical field where medical physicians are, but you're not actually the doctor. You know what I'm saying? And again, no disrespect for a receptionist or anybody else. Again, using these examples, you got to say that because people will take these things as offense, take offense to these things. It's like if you were actually to read between the line, get your emotions out of it real quick, and whatever triggers that you get when people bring up job titles, understand that these are your triggers, and no one is responsible for walking around eggshells because you have certain triggers. You need to figure that out. All right, that's just my message there. But we still have more cards for you, or at least one more card. You have the Devil in reverse, which is good. Like I was saying, like, I feel as though that if this Five of Swords individual is someone outside of you, okay, outside of you, you are in this, like, mode of again, distancing yourself, not allowing them to control how you feel about yourself, how you feel about your ability in general. Again, when we start with that Page of Pentacles in reverse, this is someone who doesn't realize their full potential, right? They might even do things to a certain degree because, like, they feel as though this is as good as it's going to get for me, you know, or this is as good as I can do it because this individual here told me that I can't do more, or, you know, I shouldn't do more because I'm not ready for more, or whatever the case is, right? So it's like, yeah, it's good to see that, like, again, with that Devil in reverse, that it's kind of like you're waking up to either that voice in your head that's telling you to be this type of individual, or you're waking up to literally this type of individual in your life, you know? So a separation is needed, either or, from that energy. And again, you can do that. I mean, if it's a other person, you could do that both physically and mentally. You can't physically remove from yourself, or at least, I don't know, hopefully you don't do anything to harm yourself. But like mentally, though, you can physically remove yourself from the demon inside of you saying, hey, you know, do this dirty deed. You can pretty much, it's like devil and angel on the one shoulder. You can not listen to the devil. That's what I mean by, like, removing yourself mentally from that side that is telling you to do dirty deeds to get ahead, because that's how you're going to find success in whatever field that you're in. All right. Quite the long one, or at least, well, I mean, we got it there. It wasn't like too long, whatever. But I got to get you your message, Libra. That is your tarot. We're about to get into the oracle right now. But before I choose a card, I would like to remind you to please hit that like if you haven't, comment, share, and subscribe. So I started this week, and I'm gonna continue doing it going forward. Whenever I have more than one oracle card, I'm just going to let the cards drop. I'm not going to choose one card or shuffle until one card pops out. That's just something that I had a conversation with myself about yesterday, and I was like, it wasn't a long one. It was just like, hey, when you get more than one oracle card, let it drop. You know what I'm saying? Let the message flow. And it was like, okay, I agree. And that was that. So again, this is what's going on here. One of your cards, I say that because you got two cards. All right. One of your cards is Clear the Path. Very much interesting. Embrace the journey ahead with an open heart, ready to discover and grow from the revelations to come. All right. Definitely, pretty self-explanatory, but yeah, like, pretty much ready yourself for whatever this journey ahead is. And again, I feel like you are now in the mode, now that you're exposed to the energy, of course, you're now in the mode of having more confidence in yourself that you are able to achieve the things that you want to achieve, no matter what may have happened in the past. No matter any type of negative energies from self, or negative talks from self or someone else saying, like, this is, not, you can't do it, and in fact, you shouldn't do it, just ignoring all of that and moving forward, right? Your last card is Make a Change. Embrace growth, seek new paths, and welcome transformations with an open heart. So we're talking about paths in both oracle cards here. Again, this is a clearing of a path, essentially, and then this is making room for that. So once you make that change, continue to go forward. So, hey, I love it. I love this deck so much. And that's what I have for you today as far as your read goes for the week of June 30th to July 6th. All right. If you got anything of value from this video here, please hit that like, comment, share, and subscribe. And yeah, I would like to thank you for trusting me for being your intuitive reader for today, or at least one of your intuitive readers for today. Like, comment, share, subscribe. And until next time, until next video, if you would like a personal read, email me. Find that in the description box below. Until then, take care.